Association for Marriage and Family Therapy with Dr. Eli Karam, and that is who I have with me here right now. So welcome, Dr. Karam. It's good to have you.
Good to be with you, Angie.
Dr. Eli, you like us to call you Dr.
Sure,
Eli, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, you are a marriage and family therapy counselor. Can you just tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, marriage and family therapist, as we say each and every week on the program, view the person in their whole relational context, meaning what's going on in their significant networks, their family members at home, their friends, perhaps their coworkers. And marriage and family therapists, different than some of the other mental health disciplines, are going to focus on strength and health instead of deficit or problems or psychopathology. It doesn't mean that if you have a mental illness or someone in your family is affected by that, they're going to ignore that. But we're going to try to tap into what is inherently good and strong in people. And there's about 400 of those in Kentucky, of the Kentucky Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, which I represent. Many of those are centrally located here in Wave Country. And every week we take your calls and we take your emails, and those inform our topics, which we have today, which is, it doesn't feel like it outside now, but it is spring. So we're talking about relationships and spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning, yes, that's right. So if you want to go ahead and get that phone call in line, sometimes we get pretty packed up and behind. So 571-5263. If you have a question for Dr. Eli, he can answer just about any topic, I think, that involves your marriage, your kids, even single folks.
Yeah, I mean, any relationship topic you have, you can feel free to call, let us know, and call in, and we're going to be here for 2 segments. So let's talk about spring cleaning. So what I mean about relationship spring cleaning and kind of clearing up some of the clutter, if you will, we have some tips for you what to do. And the first thing is, at this point of year, as we get into April, perhaps you've got an out of balance. So we want to restore that balance, and we define balance kind of in 3 ways. Do you have appropriate outlets in your life? And by outlets, I mean, do you have kind of creative intellectual outlets? Perhaps you've been overworking or not paying attention, that you've kind of lost touch of the things that you like doing. So you need an intellectual or creative outlet. You need a physical outlet. Perhaps you've gotten out of your workout routine or something like that. So the idea of having a healthy physical outlet. And also the third part of balance is having a good interpersonal network or social outlet. And that comes in significant others, or if you're not in a relationship right now, that comes from your friends, from your coworkers. So are you balanced? And in your spring cleaning, you need to assess for that. Number 2 is the idea of healthy boundaries. We hear that term a lot. Well, what does that mean? Do you have people in your life that are becoming really encroaching on a lot of your free time, or becoming an intense need, projecting a need? So how to have appropriate boundaries sometimes. Other times our boundaries are too what we call diffuse or too close, and sometimes we're too distant from people. Many times at this time of year, people go and try to reconnect with their family members or people they're cut off from. So do we have healthy boundaries? And then the third rule is this idea of eliminate excess clutter. Now we think of this, Angie, as like the spring cleaning, we get rid of physical things. And it could be that too. We hold on to things sometimes past their expiration date. But I also mean this idea of being invested in holding on to kind of grudges or things that are difficult, that help you move forward in all of your relationships. You need to assess kind of where your clutter is, both physical and metaphorical, and let that go. And the idea of giving things up that you've held on to, and many times I was cleaning moving my mother out of my childhood home recently, and all the stuff that she had accumulated, and a lot of it was hard for her to let go because there's so much meaning and sentimentality attached to it. But you only need so much things, and there is some freeing and some relief and unburdening by letting things go. So the ability to declutter is very important. Also, in your spring cleaning, you should set attainable and appropriate goals. So if you are now, into April and you say, well, I have not done a good job maintaining either my diet or my exercise, so you shouldn't set a goal to lose 30 pounds in a month. Maybe possible, but not healthy, and certainly not necessarily attainable. So you want to set things that are attainable, that build success early on. And
like what kind of relationship goal?
Yeah, relationship goals. So like to reconnect with a friend, or perhaps you have been delinquent because you've been out of balance, checking in with a family member. So it's calling them up, it's setting something up. Or you're a good parent, but you've been really busy, so you've been spending too much time at work, not enough time focusing on your children. So my spring cleaning would be kind of eliminating some of that work stress and blocking out times to spend with my kids, especially as the weather warms up. That's a good question. And then the last tip is to really be, we talk about getting rid of things in spring cleaning, but let's be thankful for what we have. And many times if you are not thankful for what you have, or you're always wanting more or comparing yourself to somebody else, you can't really enjoy the moment. So whether that be individually or in all your important relationships, you're comparing yourself to your neighbors or the Joneses next door, you're not enjoying what you have. So that's very, very important as far as relational spring cleaning. Yeah.
Now you were talking about restoring balance,
yeah.
and it's pretty healthy to have a hobby outside of your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, and to have some alone time.
Sure.
And that's kind of one of the balance issues. Is that something
I
that
think that's true. Every couple every relationship has to decide how much we time versus me time. And while your partner does not necessarily have to be with you in all these things, they should understand why it's important to you and how to support it, even if they're not directly involved in it. And I think that is a negotiation, and sometimes people err in the other direction too. They've done too much individual focus, not enough focus on the relationship, and that's where that rebalancing, recalibrating comes in, for sure.
And I like what you said about finding time to spend with your kids, more so. And since it's spring and the kids have been locked up in the houses all winter, and it's been a horrible winter, so they're dying to get outside, dying to spend time with you outside.
Right. Yeah,
so
a lot of people, they forget that if that they have these things, and sometimes they take it for granted. So people in your life, even if they're not asking, it's great when people make a direct request and it's not in an angry or defensive kind of tone. But if you have kind of gotten out of sync with these people that are important to you, now is a good time to kind of reach out, reconnect, block out some time, because many things, everything else in life, we talk about this idea of couple time and protected time, and many couples, they don't have any major conflict, but they've kind of gotten out of sync. They've become over-focused on parts of their life, whether work or their kids, but they have not made enough time for each other. So this idea of blocking out times, just like you block out an appointment for your child or a doctor's appointment for yourself, you block out time for the relationship and the couple as well. Now, marriage and family therapist, if you are out of sync and you're going through your checklist in spring cleaning, marriage and family therapist can help you in that process. So to find a therapist, you want to go to www.therapistlocator.net. And that is going to give you all of these LMFTs in Louisville. There's the website. You click on that rectangular box, you put in your information, it'll give you a list of therapists in your area.
Okay, sounds good. If you have a call for us, go ahead and give us a call, 571-5263. Tammy will take your phone calls, and we'll get to some of those in the next segment. Stick around. Lots back here with Dr. Eli Karam from the Kentucky Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, and he is answering phone calls.
There are more than 75,000 veterans living in Metro Louisville and 20,000 more expected by 2020. As suicide rates, addiction, homelessness, and unemployment have grown, there's an urgent need for our community to take action and help our heroes.